Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back. Welcoming you to Answering the Bell with Stormybman, our Sunday morning call-in. For this Sunday, March 3rd, 2024, and this is number 109 in the series of Sunday morning call-ins. And we're here to talk about another big day of boxing that we had yesterday. Matches that were quite entertaining. And then we also had one huge disappointment that seemingly could not be helped, but yet and still we made it through, and we are here today to review, revisit, and look ahead to what's on the horizon, because there's plenty to talk about when you talk about our beloved sport of boxing, and everything has to be kept in a proper perspective. Just like a fighter that has his game plan, you also have to put on the game face, and soldier on. Roll your sleeves up and take care of the business. So we're here. I appreciate anybody that came out this morning that decided that they wanted to kind of hear what Stormy B Man's got to talk about this morning. The call lines will be open shortly, and we'll be able to have some interaction, because I'm sure some of you may have things to say, sentiments to be shared and expressed. That's what it's all about. But overall, all in all, a very good day of boxing. Now, I did not get a chance to watch the full card that DAZN had, which was supposed to feature in its main event Amanda Serrano against Nina Mienke. And we'll talk about what happened there shortly. We won't just jump right into that, but we'll touch on it and see what the thoughts of the audience happen to be about that at this time. But I didn't get a chance because I took the opportunity after reviewing yesterday's ESPN card in full, which I'm so glad I did, because that's where I really found some entertainment and that which I love to see delivered from the sport of boxing. So if you didn't catch that live, you missed out. I am telling you. And when I did yesterday's post fight, I touched on the card, the players, and I got out of there so I can get some rest, because I'm finding more and more that's so important. You guys will learn sooner or later what Stormy B-Man means when he says that. Getting your rest is important, people. It is. So I'm here this morning, coming to you bright-eyed and ready to roll. And forgive a little bit of the backdrop noise. I've got my washer and dryer going, so you might hear some buzzes and things of that nature, a little bit of scrappling, but that's because I got the machines going. But no problem. We still gonna soldier on. Let's see who we got in the building. We're gonna kick off this roll call. See who we got out there this morning. Stephen L., the Mac, in the building, saying Sensei. Universal Truth is back with us, saying salute Sensei with some channel emojis. I appreciate that, and responded in kind with some of the Pi May emojis. Yeah! Salute to the brother Connor Local Sports in the building this morning, saying salute to all. Hashtag LDBC. Pretty good stream this morning. Connor, I was listening to you and Opulent Cook while I was preparing myself. So appreciate you guys doing what you do. ATX, Big Cletus is in the building saying salute family, right back at you. Salute to you. We've got Geo James out there with us this morning saying salute, right back at you, Geo. Appreciate you, bro. Boxing and Barbecue is out there with us this morning saying morning, Stormy. Morning to you. Boxing and Barbecue. Hey, Boxing and Barbecue, we got that Dine and Dish rescheduled for the 14th. That's, I think, a Thursday the 14th. The Dine and Dish will be back, and we're gonna, so be prepared that evening, Boxing and Barbecue, and we're gonna be cooking on pies. Oh my, yeah! I got a little story to add about the pies too, because I had some pie yesterday, and let me tell you, Stormybman shouldn't have had the pie yesterday. But anyway, we'll be cooking on that coming up. We ain't did a Dine and Dish in a long time, and so that'll be the first of the year and the first in many moons. So we hope that we have an audience to tune in for that. Reef the Watcher is in the building saying good morning, Stormy, and all in the chat out listening in. Hashtag LDBC. What's going on with you, Reef the Watcher? The Watcher, always observing. Yeah. So, man, how did you guys enjoy what you watched yesterday if you watched boxing? I know some of you may have tuned in to the DAZN broadcast. Others may have tuned in to the broadcast that was on ESPN Plus. I had a feeling that the Raymond Ford Atabek Kolmatov fight was going to be something worth tuning into, and so I stuck with the ESPN card from about 7 p.m. on. And man, I am so glad that I did. I saw some talented fighters go to work. I saw some spirited fighters show up. I saw some competitive natured fighters doing what fighters do. And overall, I saw Top Rank's production and matchmaking at its finest yesterday. They delivered, and there was even a minimalization of the poor broadcasting team that is ESPN. They didn't get a chance to wreck the sport with their mouths yesterday because there was so much action taking place in the ring. It couldn't be helped. They had to be silent. And I appreciated that, because sometimes those guys are really hard to listen to, and they make it very difficult with bias and angles. But the fighters who competed in last night's cards, they took the announcers out of it. And that's really good, because that means that the action that was taking place on our televisions, they couldn't even, it was like they were in awe, the announcers. And that's fine, because sometimes all you need to do is shut up and let the viewing audience see what's happening. When it was radio only, that's okay. But you can't tell me punches are landing that are not. You can't tell me somebody is hurt when they're not. You can't angle to your network's discretion when I can see what's happening for myself. You know what I'm saying? So I bear that in mind when I talk about these guys on ESPN. All of the networks are guilty of that, but they in particular, they are ones who almost make it disgusting to tune in and catch them. So here we are. There's been a great deal of things taking place outside of the ring this week, and people have seemingly lost their minds dealing with that. This whole thing about the sparring that took place 9 years ago between Tank Davis and Devin Haney. Why is that so important that someone knows who got the better of who in sparring, when sparring is just guys in the gym working it out? Sometimes they work it out on personal issues. Sometimes they're preparing themselves for scheduled bouts. Sometimes they're doing it just to stay in shape. Sometimes it's because the competitive nature in fighters allow them to get in the ring and test their wares against guys who are in the gym. So why is it such a doggone big deal? Sparring 9 years ago. You guys don't even know who Tank Davis fought professionally 9 years ago. And 9 years ago, Devin, though young as he was, had turned pro, but he was nowhere near where the men in the gym were in strength and overall tool capacity. But yet and still, this seems to be something of a conversation piece. It kind of takes me back to Allen Iverson's famous press conference where he and his coach were arguing about practice. And he was saying, practice? You talking about practice? You know what I'm saying? Because if it didn't count, why is it important? You know, years ago, Floyd Mayweather Jr. had a tremendous sparring match on a particular day with Paul Spadafora. And according to the rumors, legend has it that Paul Spadafora let Floyd have it. I wasn't there, so I can't tell you. But there was word about it. My brother Derek Harmon, who currently works for Top Rank, Derek and I were actually in the presence of one another when that had taken place, and he got a message. And he was like, ho, I got to make a phone call. He was like, Floyd and Paul, they in the gym, and word has it, Paul is handing him his dinner. I'm like, oh, really? So Derek, he went and made his call to whoever he was talking to about it and everything. And eventually when he got back to me, he was like, yeah, man, they're saying that Paul really had his way with Floyd in the gym. And I guess, you know, because that the doghouse rules and everything, that's why it was so important, because you go in there and it's till you tap out, basically, I guess. You know, I was never there, so I don't know the full rules and everything. But that was back before social media. And it was a big deal, but it was a talk amongst the fighters. It wasn't released to the public. It wasn't released to the scribes who wrote the boxing articles in magazines. But now everybody want to put their tush in front of the camera and put it on the internet, even if it ain't their real tush. They just want to give you something. Look at me. Listen to me. And it's jacked up. Because sometimes when you are doing that foolishness, it gets in the way of the real conversation. News that you could use. Things like Raymond Ford is about to become a world champion if he can turn back the challenge of this Kolmatov from Europe, who nicknames himself Bruce Lee. Yeah. Is that a story? I think it is. Why weren't people talking about that? Huh? And it turned out it was so good, it is now a legendary classic. It's the type of situation that you didn't want to miss. And guess what? I didn't miss it. I was right there to tune in and see exactly history being made. There's no history being made between Devin Haney and Tank Davis. The history that y'all speaking about took place 9 years ago in a gym full of a bunch of sweaty dudes who probably ain't washed under their armpits since then. And you're still carrying the dirt around with you. What is wrong with you? You see? This is what I'm talking about, man. Why do you subject yourself to this foolishness? Man, the priorities are not in order, bro. They're not. The things you should be concerned with, you don't. The things that you should discuss, your mouth don't move. Foolishness. Straight foolishness. But yet and still, the sport thrives. You know why the sport of boxing, people talk about the sport of boxing is dying. The sport of boxing will never die. You know why? Because it's the very thing that is what's at the core of the sport of boxing. One man pitting himself against another physically with the Marquess of Queensberry rules. And someone's going to take a side, like these idiots have taken sides in social media. But that's boxing for play. But I'm talking about the real sport of boxing that has been around for a couple of 100 years. Now, I'll be long gone and so will you. But there's still going to be two people who will get together and mix it up. And there's going to be somebody who puts some money on it. And there's going to be somebody who says one guy is better than the other. And there's going to be somebody to come along and say, I can make him better. Let's go work on some stuff. In other words, trainer. And it'll keep on going. And then somebody's going to say, if y'all have it over here on my property, we can put on an event and people will come. Sound familiar? It's been going on since you were born and before. There have been lots of derivatives, splinters, cast-offs, and spin-offs, along with the jerk-offs. Yeah! But boxing will continue. It's just that your desire, what you like specifically, it may run out. Especially, get this, y'all, especially if those interests are shallow. Hello. Did I just say something? Did I just step on somebody's toes? I think I did. Well, let me crush them with these steel-toed Timbs that I sport, because that's exactly what needs to happen. You be crushed to dust, because there is something greater here. If you missed Raymond Ford and Otak Kolmatov, shame on you, because that means that your attention was directed, focused, channeled elsewhere. See, that's how you miss blessings. Huh? While you over there with everybody else, the crowd, the one who decided to go the other way receives a blessing. And the crowd goes up in smoke. Yeah. Keep doing it, y'all. Keep on. What's that song by AC/DC? The Highway to Hell? Yeah. Get your ticket, huh? Get your ticket. But see, that's why I get more peepers than supporters, because you know, when I tell the truth, you get shamed. You get shamed on these truths that get told. Now he talking about me. Man, who told him that? It's not hard to understand that, because yours is the road most traveled by. It's more common with you than others that are not. That's why you got to wear everything that's in fashion, huh? That's why you got to be like the Joneses, huh? Your neighbor buy a new car, you got to get a new car, huh? The neighbor paint his house, you got to call some painters for your house, huh? Where's the originality in things? Where is the person who is the trendsetter, huh? I'll tell you where he at. He's out ahead of you, and you following him, and you trying to copy, huh? All the while, as they use the word now, hating on what he doing. Yeah. Am I making you mad this morning? I hope that I am. Good, huh? Scratch your backside, get glad, because you still have time to change, huh? Change your mind and get on the right track. Raymond Ford, the new IBF featherweight champion, fought so well, so hard, gave his all, that you know that young man could not even celebrate. He could not even jump for joy. He couldn't smile for the cameras. He was in pain from the fight. But he had a look on his face that said everything. And if you watch fights like Stormybman has watched fights, you know what that look said. I've seen it many a time. It was amazing. He was amazing. Let me take you guys back to 1991. Julio Cesar Chavez and Meldrick Taylor. 1990, I'm sorry. March. Ironically, same month. Chavez and Taylor were the two best lightweights in the world at that time. Pound for pound, 1 and 2, however you wanted to rank it. And they battled. It was a war of attrition, a battle of talents, wills, skills. Chavez was down on all scorecards and basically needed a knockout to win the fight. He dropped Meldrick Taylor inside 12 seconds to go in the final round, the 12th and final round. Taylor got up. Richard Steele was counting, looking into his eyes. And Taylor, who appeared to be ready to continue, was distracted by his corner man, Lou Duva, who had jumped up on the ring apron far to his right in the corner and was yelling. Chavez, who was about 6 feet behind Richard Steele when he should have been over in the neutral corner, ready to pounce on Mel if the fight was to commence. But the distraction of Lou Duva and Mel looking over at Lou while Richard was asking him, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Though Mel was slightly nodding his head, he was looking at Lou Duva, maybe looking to pick up instructions or whatever. And Richard Steele took that as him being disoriented and waved the fight off. Chavez wins with like 3 seconds to go in the 12th round. Raymond Ford knocked out Kolmatov with 7 seconds to go in that fight, a fight that he was down on the scorecards after we find how the judges were scoring the match. It was a closely contested fight, but I had Otebek ahead as well. Such drama is for the history books of the sport. These men will walk like gods in the history of boxing for their performances. Some of them will never meet that level of competitiveness and give it all you have in the rest of their career. Others, that may be just the starting point. But this is why boxing will never die. You just know how to see out of the correct eye. Bars. Yeah. Yeah. We got other people who have come into the building. Lewis Hinton is out there. Daryl Alexander, Anthony Bolton. Mahari Nation Sports Podcast in the building. Dodge J, Healer, the teacher. Yeah, welcome everybody. See, this is how I choose to cook on the sport of boxing, man. I don't be fooling around. No. Some people listen, they want to pick apart certain things that I have to say. That's okay. There'll be more shorts coming, because I'm going to say a whole hell of a lot that you don't like. That's what I find interesting. Taking certain information, breaking it down, dissecting it, and bringing it out in fact. Suck it up, buttercup. Yeah. Yeah. We were told, from what I understand, at the 11th hour and 59 minutes, (58 seconds), that Amanda Serrano would not be able to compete with her titles on the line against her opponent, Nina Mayenke, in last night's broadcast from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Apparently, just a day or so before the fight, she incurred some kind of an injury to her eye, and it didn't get better in time for the fight, and so they had to call the fight. They didn't want to pull the plug on the entire venue, but they did end up issuing full refunds to the people. I'm not here to criticize the situation. I feel for Serrano, who I've already done a breakdown video for this particular fight with her and Mayenke. And excuse me, that sneeze was coming for a moment. I'm here to continue to uphold my thoughts about her being a true ambassador for the sport. And the way that her country people, her island people, I've been referring to Puerto Rico as a country, forgive me, and in my correction, I should say island. But when you have a nation of people strong like that, I conveniently say country and countrymen and women. But I thought it was insensitive for people to boo her and everything, because that's the last person in the world that I think that would be trying to pull a fast one on her people. And it's unfortunate that we still have people out here who look for every moment to kind of rub someone else's nose in the mud when they're having difficulty. This woman gave up a belt as being an undisputed champion because the sanctioning body would not sanction that fight, a 12 3-minute round championship for a unified undisputed champion. So she gave up that title. She's a person of merit, stability, and she's in the twilight of her career. There are thoughts and sentiments that this might have been a fight that, had she made it through, she might have retired when the fight was over. I'm leaning toward that sentiment myself because I recognize what her accomplishments have been, what her age is, and how much longer someone with her talent and abilities will be able to remain at that level of excellence that she's performed. Plus, I am certain there are other things that she would like to do with her life outside the ring. One of them still being some type of ambassador to the sport, I'm certain, and helping others, young ones coming along, as far as promoting and management and things like that. So it's a shame to see how people do not have an appreciation. But these are the very same scrolls. That's right, I call them scrolls. They out here masquerading as human beings. But they are far from that. Huh? Yeah. But I salute Amanda Serrano. I salute Nina Mayenke for being there in support for her. And salute to Felix Tito Trinidad, who came out to assist with smoothing things down because the people could get rowdy. You know, even though you Puerto Rican, you know, y'all can get rowdy, huh? Yeah, with the best of them. So to have one of your warriors and legends come out to assist with smoothing things over. That shouldn't have to happen. You should just be able to appreciate your legends and warriors for who they are. But at least there were no incidents, there were no fights and brawls and tearing up the place. But you still tore up this young warrior's heart because she was there for you. And you didn't show the respect. You didn't show the appreciation. You didn't even show any compassion. And word has it, she was getting her hair done. And maybe some gel or something from the stylist got in her eye. And that's what contributed to the problem. It can happen. But they couldn't wait to boo her. They couldn't wait to shoo her. But she was there for them. Go figure. Much to learn we all have, still. Total lack of class. So here we are. Here we are. We're going to open it up and see if we can have some more conversation in depth about this past weekend, what's on the horizon, because, you know, it ain't over. We've seen our share of foolishness.
Remember that. You're not my friend. Your dad's a pimp and he pimping you. Your dad a pimp and he pimping you. I'm gonna beat 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 you. I'm reading everything. You suck. You suck. You suck. Suck. I already know you whack now. Your dad can't talk for you. Your dad can't save you.
Everybody know you really whack, nigga. You're whack.
Come up with something
you're
better,
whack.
bro.
No, you're whack.
Me, bro. That was whack.
Okay.
That was whack. You soft, bro. You soft.
I never been
soft.
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 I never been soft.
We seen that video when Tank beat your ass.
Okay.
Floyd showed me. He had your ass.
I beat the shit out of Tank.
Oh, stop. I seen the video. Remember that. I seen the video. I seen the video. You ain't gonna do shit. You ain't gonna do shit. You look like a ghost right now, bro. Ghost, you getting pale for real, bro. You getting pale for real.
Are you crazy?
Are you crazy? You are so soft. I can see your breath is just. I can hear you. You're not like that, bro.
You're not like that. You're not like that.
The fear is
You're not
getting
like
to you.
that.
The fear is getting to you. 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 I told you you're gonna feel some fear, right? Didn't I tell you that? Didn't I tell you you're gonna feel some fear you ain't felt? No.
Man, let me tell you something. I can't help but laugh. This promotion, man, the two press conferences, New York and the West Coast. Listen, man, let me tell you something. Ryan should just stay in Hollywood because that's where, you know, they do the acting, and some of them do more than acting, huh? They do drugs and everything. I think he'd fit right in. But it's a shame that all of this stuff happens around Devin Haney, who is really just trying to be a world-class fighter, world champion fighter. But all of this foolishness is in his way. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. And there are many people who still think that this fight doesn't happen April 20th. Now, there may be a fight on April 20th, but Garcia may not be a part of it. And he's let the cat out of the bag. That for whatever reason, he's thrown some extra dates out there and everything. I don't know what's wrong with this young man, but he, like Mal Charlo, should be kept as far away from a place where they hit you upside the head, huh? As far away from that as possible. Yeah. He doesn't need to be hit. I don't care if he got headgear on. I don't care if it's like 18-ounce gloves. Huh? The boxing ring is the last place this young man needs to be. Huh? Rehab, huh, might be his calling, huh? And not the same rehab where they send Oscar, because the only thing they do with Oscar at the rehab is crease his outfits, huh? And dry clean them. But he come out the same package, huh? In the same old wrappings. Yeah. So Ryan, get you some help, son. Get you some help. TD Sports Talk, I see you out there. What's happening, man? Foolishness. Straight foolishness. But see, some of these folks today, the social media people and everything, they click on all of that and they think, oh, that's great entertainment. They want to see that more than they want to see a boxing match. That lets you know how sick they are. Why do I want to see that? I want to see a fight. Now, standing up there on the dais at a press conference where you're about to get at it, you done cut weight, you done got on the scale, you made weight, you ready to fight. You're a little pushing and shoving at the press conference. I'm going to get you, sucker, for making me go through all these hardships and everything. Somebody got to pay. Yeah, I could get with that. But all of this profanity and you're at the press conference and you're telling people to jerk you off and all of this other foolishness. I like, man, listen. I told you the sport has been around far longer than any of you who are attached to this, into it, do it, all of that. John L. Sullivan used to walk into the biggest pubs in whatever town he was visiting, and he'd say, I could lick any SOB in the house. And for you freaks out there, that don't mean literally, huh? It meant that was a term for kick your butt back in those days. Because I have to correct that, because some of y'all head is forever in the gutter, huh? And you don't come above sewage line, huh? That's the level where you relate. So I have to correct on that. Yeah. $704 Joe. Mayweather, to your surprise, is not the benchmark, brother. He never has been, never will be. But some of these have made him their benchmark, huh? that to set what they do against or to compare to. But see, you're coming in a little late. I've already stated, this sport has been around for a couple of 100 years. Huh? Where was Mayweather then? I'll wait while you come up with a quality explanation as to where he was. And there have been great fighters, classic, legendary fighters in the record books through the generations, way before he came on board. Some of them were wealthy, some of them broke the laws, some of them broke the jaws, huh? But y'all only see that guy. Interesting. Jack Johnson reigned as heavyweight champion of the world at a time when there were so many great black fighters. He didn't even want to fight the black fighters himself because he knew that he could lose to them. It's just that he was good enough to become champion, but he broke a lot of laws, legal and illegal laws. And one law that he loved breaking was pairing himself up to Caucasian women. At that time was frowned upon a great deal more than it is today, but it's still frowned upon today. So in his sporty car of the era, he's speeding through a town, legend has it. And he gets pulled over for speeding. And the cop writes him a citation. Now, really, he didn't get pulled over for speeding. He got pulled over because he was riding and he had a Caucasian woman in the car with him. The speeding was a tacked on offense. So, I don't know what the cost of the fines were at that time, but let's just say it was $100, huh? Probably $200 because he was Jack Johnson. Yeah. Might $300 because he had the Caucasian woman in the car with him, huh? But the saying goes that when the cop pulled him over and told him, "You so-and-so, who do you think you are and why are you with this woman and this and that?" He's like, "Here's a fine." You know, he knew who he was because he was in the papers and everything. So he knew it was Jack Johnson. And he knew he couldn't say nothing too much because he'd get knocked out, huh? Yeah. That's the part they won't tell you. The cop knew he could get knocked out. But anyway, he wrote the citation out and he gave it to Jack. And Jack said, "How much is the fine?" He said, "Well, it's this amount." So Jack told him, "Well, here's double. Because I'm going to be doing the same thing when I come back going the other way." Yeah! You see what I'm saying? That was Jack Johnson. Benchmark. Where the hell is Floyd at, huh? In the Gucci store getting some more boots, huh? Riding boots, huh? The kind of boots that's riding all the way up to his rear end, huh? Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Maybe you don't. PGH Big Dog, I see you out there. Mr. Shelton, what's happening? Hen Dog. Isaiah GQ. Salute to all of you. 704 says, for this generation, Mayweather, yes. For 50, 60 years old men, of course not. They don't study history. It's the here and now. But see, 704, let me tell you something about what you're saying. There may be an element of truth or fact to what you're saying. But what is missed in what you're saying is the condonement of allowing that to be the case. It should be unacceptable, like it is with Stormybman, that for this generation, because this generation couldn't be here without our generation and the generation that came before. So as long as you will condone the disrespect, then they will continue to treat you as a non-factor and the ignorance persists. That's why I take no prisoners. You understand? If you're ignorant, if you're uneducated, if you're dumb, if you're stupid, if you live within those frameworks and don't care, I'm going to say something about it because I care. And I will care until there is no longer a breath of air in my body. You understand? So you can't put me amongst them. You can't bring them amongst me unless they want to change. And if they don't want to change, then they die in their ignorance, the stupidity, the dumb fuckery. I'm not one who condones. I'll put you to task. I will put it down under my boot. Because I believe in raising the quality levels. Mentally, spiritually, psychologically, first. Physically last. Do you know why physically last? It's because as strong and great and prosperous, ambitious and striving and thirsty that the mind, spirit, and psyche can be, the body has no choice but to follow. But you don't lead with physicality. You don't. That can find you directly in a grave with immediacy. You understand? T. Berry, what's happening with you? Yeah. Call lines have been open for about 15 minutes. No interest, huh? See, that's what makes me think and feel like a lot of you are in that pool of what I talk about. The lower level, the sewage level. But you're hoping to pull someone else down there with you because you want company. No. Stormy will hit that flusher and you'll go right on out into the pipeline. Last night's card, featherweight doubleheader. Watching Luis Alberto Lopez beat up on the Japanese fighter I thought Raya Abe, who if he had won that fight last night, the IBF featherweight title, forgive me, I think I said IBF for Raven Ford. It was WBA for him earlier. If Raya Abe had a chance to defeat Lopez, it could have made him the 100th Japanese champion in Japanese history. But Lopez said, hold my Takate, and commenced to whipping in on Abe's backside. You see? This is what it is. Lopez is a small man. They list him at 5'4". He may be closer to 5'3". Abe was 5'7.5". But man, when he went upside Abe's head, I think Abe found out something that he hadn't realized. Oh, this is for real. He realized, oh, that's what they meant when they was talking about him. You know what was really interesting too? In both matches, the main and co-main, the fighters were the same ages. Now, in the IBF title fight, both men were 30 years old, Lopez and Abe. So these are guys facing one another at their best, at their strengths. For Ford and Kolmatov, they were 24 and 25 years of age. This is what I'm talking about. You see, how old is Tank Davis? And who's the best fighter that he's fought? How old is Shakur Stevenson? Who's the best fighter he's fought? How old is Devin Haney? Who's the best fighter he has fought? I asked that because what I'm trying to get at is the fact that you need challenges in the sport of boxing. You need to be put in a position to gauge exactly where you are. Look here, we just got a bunch of people looking now. Just looking. No participation. Almost 100 folks. Only 33 likes. So what are you guys doing out there? Okay, we got 267 in the building.
B-Man, what's going on? This is B-Mac.
B-Mac, what's happening with you, brother? How you doing this morning?
I'm doing all right. Beautiful morning.
Yes, it is.
Sunny out here. Sunny.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so what we talking about today? I just turned you on. I'm kind of late.
No, it's an open conversation today, as it is most Sundays. Right now, I've just been talking about last night's cards. I talked about
I missed that, man. I turned it on and missed it.
Yeah, I talked about Amanda Serrano missing her fight, and
what's up with that?
she apparently, the story goes that she went to a stylist to get her hair ready for the fight, and something got in her eye, and it prevented her from being able to fight.
What they say, stuff happens, huh?
Yeah, it happens. But what was really bad was how the Puerto Rican audience responded to it. They were booing her and all of that, you know.
Yeah, well, they spent their money, that's why, you know. But that's what you get.
Well, no, the promoter of the event offered the people full refund.
Oh, okay. All right.
And that was announced, you know, right along with the news that she wasn't going to be performing. And she even paid the woman, the opponent, her full purse. So, you know, I mean, you know, you can pick your battles, man. And I've done videos on this woman, and I've talked about her being an ambassador to the sport that represents in the most proper of ways. But it's hard to find other people with the same caliber of class. But people love the dirty draws of these people who don't hold a candle to the class that someone like she happens to exhibit. So I get really riled up regarding stuff like that, because you see it on an everyday basis, and it's really bad. It's a wicked world we live in, bro.
Yeah, it is. Stuff happens, especially dealing with big things, stuff happens. Freak accident. Well, I know you heard about the firestorm. I heard your take last night on the replay on the Devin Haney and Tank Davis sparring match. And they making a big, mockery of it. It just was good work. That's all I've seen. They put a highlight reel together. And
Well, see, you might have heard my take last night, but I'm gonna tell you, this is why you get an F+ for today, because I've already touched on that in my opening remarks. Yeah, you're late. That's what happened when you're late. See, I'm very consistent with what I say and do, man. Stormy holds people accountable, because you know why? I look at it like this. If it's me, I have to be accountable for what I do. You understand? And I made a point. My show starts at 10:30 a.m. on Sundays. But when I opened this show up, I talked about that. I talked about the fact that it's a 9-year-old situation. You guys can't tell me who these two guys fought 9 years ago. So why in the hell would someone be worried about a sparring match between these two guys from 9 years ago? And I gave the example of Floyd Mayweather and Paul Spadafora, when there was a time of no social media as we have today, and that was even worse. But nobody knew about it except for the people who were in the gym and the professional writers of boxing magazines, and some platforms at that time was like writing for television like HBO or Showtime or whatever. They didn't know. That information wasn't shared. Right. It wasn't shared. So, this is what I'm talking about. Why is it significant? Only for people who like gossip. Who normally is associated with gossip in life? Who? Tell me that, B-Mac.
Women.
Thank you. Thank you.
We got
Thank you.
Patty men now.
Thank you. Exactly. And you know what? That should be unacceptable. And that's what Stormybman has been saying. But see, they could get mad, and they could be out there in the dozens and the triples and even the 50s or 70s in my on my stream here watching. But they won't write in my chat. They won't call into the show. They won't participate like family because they mad and in their damn feelings. Like women.
Well, yeah, the general public is chatty patty. So,
and that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. See, listen, hold on. Because you ask me things, and then you can't not let me answer when I do, because it may not be something that you like. Because Stormybman has always said, I say things that are not popular. And that's fine, because when I say it, there is some fact based in it. If it hit your toe, say freaking ouch. But don't act like you ain't got no foot, because you look like a damn fool hobbling around. Huh? Who the hell pretends that they don't have feet, bro? Nobody, right? So why should you pretend that you don't have ears to hear facts? See how stupid that is? And see how I tied it together? This is what we're dealing with in society of today. And it should be unacceptable for those of us who have come thus far. Accountability is everything, man. And you got too many people who are trying. Why are people talking about Tank and Devin? Why? You just had a young man win his first world title last night, and it channeled other legends in the sport like Chavez and Ray Leonard and things of that nature. And it's like nobody's talking about that. But they're still making more videos about Ryan Garcia's t-shirt with Devin on it and stupid stuff. But then people want to sit up and say stuff like, yeah, Stormy, that's so foolish. Well, why are you watching this shit then? Stormy ain't watching it. How do I know about it? Because y'all talking about it. But I have never went and sought it out and say, oh, let me see what fuckery that Ryan's doing today. I've been talking about Raymond Ford. I've been talking about Luis Alberto Lopez. I talked about Oktябek, Komatov. Damn good fight. Damn good fighters. That's who should get the shine. That's who should get the press. But you got even other content creators out here sitting up there saying, well, you know, I bring the truth. I bring the facts and this and that. Well, it's a fact that all you're talking about is the same old hogwash every day. I done talked about Amada and her missing the fight and how unfair it is that her own island people treated her like they did and everything, even when they bring Tito Trinidad out of the doldrums to help smooth over the edges, so to speak. And they do these things, but it's like nobody wants to hear the real facts. Society is screwed up, man. And I don't want to be a part of that. Screw duckery. I don't. Which is why my content is totally different. It ain't for everybody. And I've said that. But if it ain't for everybody, what the hell are they doing out there watching? Why? My analytics is telling me they watching for at least 15 minutes on the time that they're here. Over 100 people. But I got 34 likes. So what is it about Stormy B, man? What is he saying that they can't turn away too fast? It'd be different that the average view was 3 or 4 minutes. But if you're sitting in there for 15 to 20 minutes, you're dialed in. You can't get 15 or 20 of my minutes with bullshit. Do that make sense?
Yeah, they listen. Listen. Yeah, I mean, this is, it beating a dead horse down. And when I was in the gym today, you got casual people talking about it now. And just make the fight if you want to keep talking about it.
Right.
Yeah, just make the fight. I mean, it wasn't a fight before all of this nonsense. So they done made it like the hottest fight in boxing when it really wasn't. They done gave it legs. You got casual people talking about the nonsense. You know, the casuals like the nonsense. It's like Love and Hip Hop TV show with a bunch of nonsense.
Let me ask you this. Now, remember, I've said this on my channel. If you follow me, have you ever heard me say this? Words are powerful. Have you ever heard me say that?
Words are powerful.
Have you ever heard me say that in anything, whether I'm on live or I'm on somebody else's platform, like when I do my collabs with Drew Titan, whatever? Have you ever heard me say words are powerful?
I guess. I never really.
Okay, if you haven't heard, and that's okay if you haven't, but I'm giving background with what I'm about to say. Words are powerful. So when you use them, you should really know what they mean before utilizing them to express yourself. Now, the word casual, when applied to the people of today with boxing, right? The casuals. What does that really mean to you, the casual?
To me, it means people that don't know about boxing.
Okay, well, why would you listen to them? Why would you listen to them?
Yeah, they would come up to me.
No. But listen,
Talking.
why would you listen to them? Why would you give them much of your time? Why would you give them any consideration if your understanding of they being casual be that they are ill-informed and not in the loop, therefore ignorant of the fact? So,
Because I love talking about boxing.
okay, but you know, you do know that you could talk to the wall and get a better conversation, right? The wall.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going somewhere with this. Who's the bigger fool? The casual or you? I don't like boxing so much that I'm going to talk to the ignorant, because my message that I convey when I do these lives and everything, it's not for them. That's why I'm so good about just removing them immediately for foolishness and trolling and things of that nature, because they get in the way. You're blocking the mental energy of what's being projected with foolishness. So you scurry along, go somewhere else. There's plenty of places outside for you. People got mad at Chick-fil-A because they don't open on Sunday, because they dedicate that day to the people who founded the establishment. They have faith, and that's what they built that around, and it's successful. But people condemn them because, those people are worshipers and this and that. You're condemning them, but they're successful. And then when they open up on Monday morning, you're the first one in line. It's foolishness.
Yeah.
So why are you giving energy to the foolish? I still want an answer from that. Because, again, when I'm talking, that's not who I'm talking to. They come into this chat sometimes and they write, even today, and they think I don't know who they are. And I don't acknowledge. You know why? Because it's foolishness. You don't give energy to the inanimate. You don't. Now, who has the problem? Them or me?
Well, the people that come up to me, they wasn't coming with ignorance. They just was coming with, who do you think will win? And do you want to see this fight? And who is Devin Haney? And, what he's about. Like the last time they said it was the Ryan Garcia versus Tank. And everybody, I never even thought that was a big fight. I knew it was going to happen. So all my buddies calling me up, they casual fans. They're like, this fight. I said, this is not a big fight. Oh, yes, it is. This and that. And this going to be a good match. I said, no, it's a lopsided match. I told him what was going to happen. And after the match, he said, you was right. So, I talk to the casual. They not being disingenuous or anything, but I just talk because I'm a talker and I love talking about boxing. Same thing with track and field, stuff like that. When the girl Richardson was running, she made a big name for track and nobody paid attention. So people at my job talking left and right. And then when she lost, I said, well, she lost because she's going to put it together. She's still young. And when she started winning, she won the world champion. They said, you was right. So yeah, the girl can run. She just, didn't take it serious. Shakari Richardson, I'm talking about.
Salute to my brother BFTB Boxing out there in the chat. Appreciate you stopping in, BFTB. Listen, like I said, if you're going to use the word casual, then you cannot expect something of substance in a conversation and being engaged with casual. You can't. And then it's also foolish to turn around and point out their casualness, right? You're pointing it out. It's like, look at you. You don't know anything about boxing. But you know what you could do? You could try to educate and to try to elevate. And when you recognize that they don't want education, that they don't want elevation, you leave them be. That's the way it's supposed to work. And you know what happens when you do that on a consistent basis? When they find out that they can't be casual with you, they can't be casual with him, they can't be casual with her, they can't be casual with them, they're going to look in the mirror and finally say, you know what? Fuck, I'm too casual. I need to increase my knowledge. I need to fortify myself. I need to educate myself. I need to elevate myself. Because of the non-acceptance factor. It doesn't happen overnight. But if there is little to no effort of it at all, then it will consistently grow like a cancer. This is why you have to be non-accepting of this foolishness. I talked about what should have been talked about. I talked about Ray Ford. I talked about that doggone Oktябek Komatov. I talked about Luis Alberto. I talked about Kenya Abe. I talked about the fighters that should have been talked about. I talked about Troy Isley. You understand? Troy Isley put on a performance last night. He's now with Bomac, and he looked damn good. He looked like a real contender last night, knocking out a guy that many other fighters who have fought didn't get a stoppage like he got. He broke the guy down systematically. Didn't go outside of himself. Operated within the framework of what they trained and prepared him for, and he looked like $1 million. Troy Isley, who has been looking average as I don't know what the entire time that he had been on Top Rank and through ESPN bouts that he's had. But last night, he looked a little bit special. He looked a little bit like someone like, oh my goodness, I can't wait to see this kid again. And guess what? I was talking about it. Yeah, you missed it. You missed it. But you see what I'm saying? As I said in my post-fight show last night, and I'll repeat it again this morning, I talk about what should be talked about. I don't give time or notice to that is so casual that it ain't worth the time. All you got to do is go to my main page and look at the topics of my videos. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You know what you ain't going to see? You ain't going to see Tank Davis. You ain't going to see Shakur Stevenson. You'll see Canelo because of certain factors that regard Canelo and his trainer. But you're seeing all these different fighters that I'm talking about that you be like, wow, ain't nobody else talking about this. Several videos, Oshaki Foster. The ladies of boxing, I'm talking about them. The heavyweights of the UK, I'm talking about them. Other contenders from the UK. You know why? Because the US fighters, they're stuck on this social media thing. They like to be on Twitter and the Instagram and all that foolishness, but they ain't fighting nobody. So why am I going to waste my time talking about those numbskulls? Why?
Yeah, that's the social media is the new view for men.
That's why I only use it to be able to further what and project my content. That's pretty much it. I'm not out there trying to be social and be your friend and all of that foolishness.
You know what I wanted to ask you about the fight? Arthur Benavidez versus Bisping coming up in June.
Why you want to ask me about that?
What you think about it and who you got?
Why do you want to ask me about that?
Well, it's a good fight. That's one of the best fights I wanted to see.
You think it's a good fight, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that all that matters?
Yeah.
But what if I were to call you a casual and tell you you don't know what you're talking about? Would you be offended?
No, well, you know more boxing than me.
Oh, do I? Why?
Yeah.
What makes you say that? No. I'm trying to point something out here. I'm trying to, and don't think that I'm trying to embarrass you. And I'm not. We're having a conversation. But the point of that is that fight is really not near. So
It's in June, right? Yeah.
Yeah, brother. This is March. And there's a hell of a lot happening right now. And guess what Stormybman is doing? He's giving his energy to that. But see, when you start casting your eyes off in the distance, that let me know you're not even focused on what's happening today. You said you missed the fights last night. So why are we even having a conversation if you missed them? You see what I'm saying? I could point it out to you, and you could get mad, and you could get upset. And you can go out there with some of them other folks that's over there that don't like Stormybman, and y'all get in the channels of their live streams and be talking about, yeah, Stormybman, and get to talking about me when all I did was keep it real. I'm talking about who should be talked about. I talked about Amanda Serrano, where she was trying to do something great in her island, and the people treated her like crap. I talked about these men that were on the ESPN card. I haven't yet watched the rest of the DAZN card. There's a couple of fights on there that I want to see. And I don't talk about what I haven't watched or tuned into, because that's like ignorant to do something like that when I don't really know what happened yet. So I'm going to take some time and invest in that. But this is what I'm talking about. I'm not casting my eyes beyond the distance. We got fights coming up this week. Do you know that ESPN has another Thursday night fight card where Stephen Butler is taking on Steve Rolls? I didn't get a chance to talk about that yet, but I'm prepared to talk about it because that's what I do. When I said with the look ahead, when I opened my show up today, I said that. If you looked at your screen, you'll see I even got the fight poster up. Stephen Butler taking on Steve Rolls, two perennial contenders. They're not top contenders, they're perennial contenders because both of them have fought other world championship caliber fighters and lost to them. But now they're getting ready to fight each other this coming Thursday night. And then, of course, Friday night, you got the Joshua and Ngannou pay-per-view. So it's like, yeah. But see what I'm saying about casting your sights too far ahead? You see what I'm saying? This is why I stand on the principles of what I talk about. So why would I be continuing to waste my time talking about Devin Haney and Tank Davis? Why?
And it ain't even signed. It ain't probably going to happen.
Yeah. And who the hell cares about Shakur Stevenson, who ain't trying to fight nobody? Huh? Again, this is what I'm talking about. But people get mad, and they be like, well, who does Stormy think he is? I think I'm who I am. And I think I'm going to continue to talk about what y'all should know about. Those who have an ear to listen, they will hear it. Those who don't give a damn, let them be damned. It's as simple as that. Yeah, it sound like you're in there buying them pig foot sandwiches or something. Yeah.
Nah, I don't like pig feet. That's my grandma. They love all of that. My grandma used to eat chitlins. I would have to leave the house, man. Yeah, I'll leave the house when they start cooking that. I'll leave the house. And they laugh at me and tell me, you know, they good. I tell them that they ain't a slave no more. They ain't got to eat that stuff no more.
Listen. See, check this out. After the Rose Butler card, then you got AJ and Ngannou, and then the following week you got William Zepeda, and he's taking on Maxie Hughes, who really won that fight against George Kambosos Jr., but they gave Kambosos the fight so that he can fight Lomachenko over in Australia. Yeah, see, so the games that they play. But then this is another fight card that's coming up March 16th. And then after that, you got in March, we're talking, you got a doubleheader again on ESPN Plus, where Oscar Valdez is coming back against that kid Wilson. Now, listen, man. Wilson had that good fight against Emmanuel Navarrete. Remember, Navarrete almost lost to him. He got dropped and everything. You remember that?
Yeah.
So that kid, that's who Oscar Valdez is coming back against. Because he, you know.
Yeah, some good fights coming up.
Yeah, and then Estrada is taking on Valley, you know, in a doubleheader there with Superbad. That's what she's nicknamed. She's coming back and defend her titles. Listen, there's fighters and fights to be talked about, bro. You know what I'm saying? There's fighters and fights to be talked about. And this is what I be saying consistently. And listen, I will say this, and this can really make people mad. At the end of the month, you got a big heavyweight fight coming with Fabio Wardley taking on Fraser Clark from the UK. These are two young, up-and-coming heavyweights that are ready to take the next step into being a world contender. And instead of avoiding each other like these American fighters are doing or whatever, they're putting it on the line. They're putting it on the line because these two men, one of them is going to go forward in their career, and they will replace the likes of Joe Joyce and Dillian White and Tyson Fury and all those guys. Yeah, one of these guys is coming along. And so they're facing each other now. When is Jared Anderson going to do something besides be on the weekly police blotter? When?
His head is not into it. When I heard him talk to Roy, he's not cut for the box. He's just talented.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. Let me turn that around for you metaphorically. You said his head is not into it, right?
Yep.
Earlier in this show, I said with the dedication properly, a fighter has to be mentally, spiritually, psychologically invested.
Yeah.
As far as physically, that needs to be last. You know why? Because if you have the mental, the spiritual, the whole aspiration of being the best you could be or whatever, the body has no choice but to follow what the strength of the mind reflects. So, if his head isn't in it, where is his ass gonna be found?
Yeah, he's just a matter of time. That's all.
B-Mac, answer that question. If his head isn't in it, where is his ass to be found?
On the fence. He's gonna get knocked in, get his head knocked off. Boxing's not a game you play with. That's the game. He's gonna get his teeth knocked out. By an average guy, if your head not in. You ain't even gotta be that good. Can't play boxing.
See, but again, do you see the things that I be talking about?
You can't go in boxing or any professional sport half that. Go get your head knocked off. It's like what you said about Charlo. That guy, boxing should be ashamed of stuff. That guy got mental health illness. You can see it. And they put that man in the ring. That man shouldn't even touch a boxing glove. The guy is not mentally stable to do anything.
And Canelo wanted him badly. What does that say about him?
Yeah, I mean, that's why he needs to be out of boxing. They're making it a spectacle. It's not. He could kill Charlo in the ring because
Exactly. So do you see why when I do the videos like I've done and I talk about him and his trainer, I'm like, what kind of game are you trying to run here? It's like I can beat up a guy who's sitting in a damn wheelchair, huh? Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
It is. And you got people who are loyal to this guy and won't look at it for what it truly is. That's some bullshit. I'm sorry to say, but not sorry. because it's profane the way I'm speaking at this very instance, but that's how angry I've gotten over that situation. He wants Charlo. He really wants him. Nobody wants Charlo right now. Not even the damn mental wards. That's why he's not in there. So, but Canelo wants to fight the guy. But he don't want to fight the guy who's been a damn #1 contender for the belts that they stripped away from him for 3 years.
The UFC under Dana White, that would not happen. I mean, you get your guys that don't want to fight, but he makes you fight. It don't be no guys like that. There's no Canelos in the UFC. No Canelos with that mentality. You're either going to fight or you're going to get out.
And brother, they're overpaying him to the degree that it's disrespectful to the guys who deserve to earn well in the sport. Bud Crawford and Errol Spence couldn't earn what they were supposed to earn because the outfit PBC gave all that money to Canelo.
All the money, yeah, isn't that crazy? That's crazy. And not only Canelo, they could have got Keith Thurman to fight Boots. All Keith wanted was $10 million. They'd rather give it to Canelo to fight a nobody. Give the man $10 million. He's going to fight a young up-and-coming, and it's going to make boxing better.
But see, that's what I be talking about in my videos. When I speak on these things, these guys come at me and they be saying something, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just a Canelo hater and this and that. I'm like, really? You don't see what's happening here? Yeah. I get these.
You're a Canelo hater?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because Canelo don't want to fight his contemporary opponent. Okay.
Some of them have said that he's earned the right to do what he's doing. Nobody earns the right to just take advantage of people economically like he has done. He has cleaned out the bank vaults everywhere he's gone.
Every network, everywhere.
And all the while, hasn't fought one guy that the public wanted to see him face.
Nope. I don't want to see him fight. After Triple G, I ain't want to see him fight no more. I said, this guy don't want to fight nobody.
Listen, guys like John Ryder and Billy Joe Saunders and even Caleb Plant. I talked about Caleb Plant in my Canelo video where I said that he really wasn't ready for the Canelo fight and that he probably needed a couple of more fights, right? A guy wrote in my comment section for that video. He's since been removed, but he wrote in there, you old LDBC, or you don't know what you're talking about. Caleb Plant wasn't ready. Ha ha ha, he says, or whatever. But what my grounds for saying that were, they were predicated on what Caleb showed us and showed Canelo. He showed him too much respect in there, didn't he? He had a personal conversation in there with him. Oh, I'm not too bad for a guy that's like 23-0, huh, Canelo? He's having these kind of conversations when you should be in there trying to take his dinner. That's somebody who ain't ready for the spotlight. And I'm sure that Caleb would admit to that in his sincerity. He would admit to that. But this is not to put Caleb down. I'm just saying, when you're ready, like Raymond Ford last night, he went in there and he told his cornermen, when he started turning the fight around in the 5th or 6th round, he went back to his corner in one of those moments and told his cornerman, I'm going to stop him. And he did. It was hard. It wasn't easy. But he had some kind of belief in himself. Where was Caleb's belief? You see?
Caleb couldn't wait to cash that check at the end of the fight.
I'm sure he couldn't. But see, that makes it all the more, it's like, what is a man fighting for? Remember, Benavidez, they were willing to accept a base salary of $5 million. No pay-per-view money, no extra, just $5 million straight up. and Canelo would take.
That's what he said.
Yeah, he was on the Boxing Voice. Did an interview this week. You could go and check it out. Shout out to the Boxing Voice for posting up that interview. But check this out. Canelo would have gotten over 50 million. Rumor had it was 50 million or 55 or even 60. But all David would have taken out of that pot would have been 5 million. And guess what? He makes more than that when he fights anybody else. So not only did Canelo want the lion's share of the pot like that and was going to get pay-per-view revenue and everything, but he wanted the Benavidez camp to turn that down. And they didn't. They said, we just want the opportunity because we feel we can win. And that's when he went somewhere else. You see what I'm saying? It's like that. What that is telling you. Exactly. So the way to duck also is to make it like, oh, a guy is being unreasonable. Who's really being unreasonable? Canelo. Why does Canelo need to take 50 million against anybody? Anybody. I don't care if he's fighting Benavidez. Why should he get 50 million for it?
Yeah.
Remember, this was a guy who couldn't stop John Ryder. Jaime Munguia knocked John Ryder the hell out, didn't he?
I don't think Canelo should be in boxing.
And Canelo had to fight John Ryder in Mexico. Maybe if he would have fought him in the UK or something, it doesn't go down like that. He has been a vacuum cleaner, sucking up the cash out of every vault wherever he's gone. But he has not delivered anything as far as the fighters. It's ridiculous.
He needs to be out of boxing, I'm telling you. I don't think he should be in boxing. I mean, they can say what they want about Floyd. I disagree with how Floyd's a promoter, but when he fought, he fought. This guy, man, he don't want to fight nobody.
Nobody good.
He just want to, yeah, nobody's good.
Nobody good. Remember that. It's like he'll fight somebody, but they got to be handicapped. They either got to be handicapped by his contract arrangements, or they got to be someone that's mental health issues, someone that's not at their best, someone who took a bad beating in their last fight. All of those things are benchmarks and check boxes that he likes to check off to fight them. But nobody who's looking good. You got 4 guys right now who are right there. You got Billy, you got Morrell, you got Benavidez, and don't forget Demetrius Andrade is still around, and there are guys that you know, Caleb is coming back, so he's still in the top 10, but when you think about it, he's not looking at none of his contemporaries who are in their perpetual youth and their best. He ain't trying to face those guys, and I think that that's fraud. How can a man be sitting up waiting to be a #1 contender for 3 years?
You think David Benavidez needs to step up to 75?
No. No. And that's the other play that Canelo is doing. Remember, listen, man, you're talking to somebody you're talking to somebody who knows what the hell is going on here. Remember, it was just a couple of years ago that Canelo took his ass up to 175 because he thought it was going to be sweet with Bivol, right? And then, yeah, but check this out. But not only did Bivol show him that it wasn't sweet, if he couldn't handle Bivol, you know he can't handle Bitterbeef, right? And you know he can't handle Yard and Buatsi and all those guys, right?
That's a good fight. When you just said, I didn't even think about that.
Listen, I'm not done. I'm not done. So he goes his ass back down to 168, and he pulls up an aging, over the hill, out of his best weight class, Triple G, for a third fight that nobody asked for. And he beats him up. All right? But what about Benavidez? What about Morrell? What about Mbili? They're all super middleweights. But check this out. So he won't fight Benavidez. So Benavidez's people are like, well, we'll go up to 175. But I think that Benavidez is 25 or 26 years old, right? Dude, 175 beckons, but not right now. Let those guys up there settle their business first. You're getting ready, like you asked me about, you're getting ready to have a major unification bout for undisputed between the two champions. You got a fighter who took a couple of years off, who was one of the best and a former champion in Gavaskit. Used to be trained by Teddy Atlas, who better be beat up. He's back. And so Benavidez's camp is saying, well, we'll move up and take on him. You don't want to fight Gavaskit. He's had a couple of years off. He's ready to come back. And you're nothing but a great name for him to get his luster back. And you're not even a regular at that weight class yet, because you're even talking about after fighting someone like him, you'll drop back down to 168. So you're unfocused. You're actually letting Canelo dictate your career. Because the only reason he's going to go up is because he can't get the fight with Canelo. You don't have to do that. Fight those other guys. Fight Morrell. Fight Mbili. Prove you're the best at 168. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? By proving you're the best at 168, now you have done what Canelo couldn't do. You can run his ass out of the sport. But if you run your ass up there to 175, you risk getting beaten up yourself by bigger, stronger men. You can grow into 175. That ain't your weight class yet. And the reason that I know is because he hired a nutritionist to help him make 168 properly. And he's looked damn good in his past 2 fights. Caleb Plant and Demetrius Andrade, that's the best he's ever looked in those 2 fights. Why would you let Canelo run you away from your weight class? And he ain't even fighting nobody in your weight class, including you. You see the games being played here?
Yeah, it's a dirty sport. It's a dirty sport, man. It needs to be regulated. For guys like Canelo, the promoters, shady promoters, the commission, yeah, it's too much. Too much dirty stuff. It's a dog-eat-dog world, man. And it hurts the fans like me and you.
It doesn't hurt me, because when they're not putting on those fights that are highly anticipated like that, I still can point my nose in a different direction and find good boxing. But guess what? The casuals can't. And the casuals will buy into what they're being led to believe. Whatever's in that bottle that they put their mouth on the nipple to suck, they're going to take whatever that beverage is. But guess what? That's not Stormy's drink of preference. It's not. That's why I don't do it.
Good point. Good point. There's some top fights coming up. You just mentioned. I usually check out ESPN on my ESPN app and see it. But you just refresh me with what's coming up, and it's a big fight.
Absolutely. But look here, B-Mac, I'm going to get ready to get out of here, bro. You really brought a lot of conversation out of Stormy today.
Yeah, I got your blood pressure up. I didn't mean to do that. But
No, it's okay. We didn't even have any other calls to try to come in. But we carried the show very well. But I got to get out of here because I got to get me some lunch in me. I hear you over there eating that pork chop sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
So I got.
I'm making pork chops later in the week.
So, you know.
I love raw onions, hot sauce, and some spicy mustard, man.
Yeah.
Some potato bread, man. Oh, man.
And that
Potatoes and string beans.
and that fat on there that got that extra breading on there and it's kind of oily and got all that flavor in it. I can hear it every time you take a bite. I might have to wipe some of the moisture off my screen. So I said, hey,
I don't use the flour. Season it up. Paprika, onion powder. It's good.
yes, sir. That's what it's all about, man.
All right.
All right, man. I appreciate your call, man. Thank you for calling in.
Okay.
Take care. Peace to you.
Take it easy.
All right. That's the brother B-Mac calling in. Kept the show going today. Really appreciate that, man. Jimmy Bernard, I see you out there. Came into the building. Main biker as well. What's good with you? Yeah, man. But these casuals, stop feeding them, man. If they don't want to be educated, leave them be. Shake the dust off your shoes and keep it moving. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. But I'm going to get ready. I got to get me something to eat. Stormy B-Man got to get some lunch. Well, yeah. Also, before I get out of here, I also need to let you guys hear from my brother, the Focus Ball, you know, because we do our merchandise advertisements every show, every boxing live stream. So it's important that we do that. So with no further ado, let me let you guys hear from my man Focus Ball.
Get ready to take your striking game to the next level with the Focus Ball. Dramatically improved footwork, timing, head movement, hand-eye coordination, reflex, and overall fight IQ. It's lightweight and extremely portable, so you can train every time, everywhere. When you don't have a coach to do mitt work, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a heavy bag to hit, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a sparring partner, get yourself a Focus Ball. And when you just want to have fun punching and kicking, get a Focus Ball. When you train with the Focus Ball, you train your eyes and your brain to read punches so that you can hit and not get hit, making this very simple device a must-have for all combat sports athletes and enthusiasts alike. So if you want to take your striking game to the next level, don't wait. Get the Focus Ball now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Get you some of that merchandise, man. I'm talking about the focus ball for some of you athletic folk out there. A great piece of training apparatus that can work on your eye, your reflective actions, also your sense of anticipation. The focus ball. And then, of course, you got Stormybman merchandise out there. Everything from ball caps to hoodies to t-shirts, jackets, even mugs to drink out of. We've got something in the bag for everybody. So don't be afraid. Go on over there to the merchandise store at the Stream Labs and get you something. But we've come to the end of another great show. I appreciate everybody that was out there listening today and those who participated, like my man B Mac. Appreciate that, brother. And we will be back next Sunday for another Answering the Bell. Just know that when we do these shows, man, they're done with a sense of talking about the sport. You know, overall, the in-depth aspects of it and some things that need to be corrected, issues that need to be addressed and things of that nature, but it's what we do on a regular basis. But with that being said, I want to say have a great rest of your Sunday and a wonderful, prosperous work week. Shout out to the mighty LDBC, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
This is Sparta!